What is up, guys? I'm Cooper, and welcome to the Legion Vlogs. Today, I kind of wanted to talk about coaching, particularly coaching in this sport, right? Recently, I got the opportunity to go down to Inde Motorsports Park to Yamaha's Champion Riding School, thanks to Nick Nash, Keith, all those guys, Chris Paris, Mark Schellinger, all those guys for having me down. Reason being is, if you know me, you know I've done a number of champ days, but typically I'm behind the camera. I'm there to video and do all that kind of stuff. So as a byproduct of that, I end up being kind of a student, but I've never never been able to do the 2-day school. I haven't been down there before, and I've never done an actual day just for myself. So anyways, day one, I'm sitting there. I think Chris Paris' beautiful face. By the way, can we take a minute and just talk about this man's good looks? I mean, those eyebrows are impeccable. I think even my wife wanted to know who does his eyebrows. I mean, those bad boys are like, I don't know if they're microbladed or what, but whatever this guy's routine is, you're killing it. I think we'd all like to know the secret. I can't tell how old this man is. You know, he could easily be, 40s, 20s, who knows? But whatever you're doing, whatever your wife has you doing, it's fantastic. But anyways, so as he's standing up there, he's covering, he's starting to get into the umbrella that covers us all. I was taking some pics and posting them to my IG story, and I start getting hit with basically the same question, worded a little bit different, phrased a little bit differently, but basically about 20 of my friends all asked me kind of the same thing. And that was, hey bro, let me know if you thought it was worth it. Do you think it's worth it as blank? And fill in the blank. Blank being as an experienced rider, as a novice or expert road racer, whatever. And the one thing all these guys had in common is that they all hold a race license in some form or fashion, whether it be novice, expert, whatever it is. All of them at some point are a licensed racer. So this wasn't like new riders asking me, hey man, is it worth it? And I did a video on that years ago. Hey, is Champ Day worth it? And of course the answer was yes, of course. So as I sat there, and full disclosure, right, I didn't pay to come down here. I mean, obviously, gas, hotel, all that kind of stuff. So in a way, yes, paid partially, but the 2-day was offered to me. I was a guest. So I hadn't really considered that. I hadn't really, what I paid for this. And now I had already planned for this upcoming year to do a Champ Day school, to get the full experience. And as I was sitting there, I didn't know how to answer that, and I hadn't really put much thought into, is this worth it? And I had to look at, granted, I've been to a number of Champ Day schools, and I sat there and I thought, well, am I going to learn anything new? Do I already know what they're going to say? And I didn't really put that thought forward. So I want to pause here for a minute. I just want to talk about coaching in general, right? Because this question comes up a lot in our sport. But when you look at any other sport out there, you look at baseball, softball, basketball, soccer, football, hockey, whatever, you name it, right? Either as a parent or as a kid coming up, after you bought the cleats, the best cleats, right? You got the best glove, you got the bat, you got whatever it is, the nicest ball, you know what I mean? What did you pay for? You know what I mean? Where did your parents send you? What do you as a parent pay for? And that's typically, coaching, right? That's typically, some type of camp. In some sports, you have multiple coaches. Third base coach, you got offensive, defensive, nutrition, all these different coaches that you're paying for up until you get to our sport, right? And I bet you right now, you go around the paddock, whether it be a track day or the next race round, and if you were to go around and ask all these riders, hey man, who's your coach? I bet you get one of a couple answers, right? But the majority, I'm going to just throw some numbers out there. I bet you the majority, 90% probably give you this answer. One, I don't know. What do you mean coach? I don't have a coach. Or they tell you, oh, I watch, I watch videos online, or, I listen to Ken Hill, or, maybe my buddy helps me out once in a while, but they don't really have like a coach, and then you have that few, and you typically know these guys. These guys are up there in their level. They've really dedicated, and those guys will tell you, I work with so-and-so monthly, or I'm doing this, but that percentage is so small, really small. And when you look at it and you look at how we come up in the sport, it's typically you're an adult, right? Got a sport bike. At some point, you decided to take it to the track. Your first encounter with coaching is probably at a track day, either novice group, right? You've moved your way up to A group, maybe got some coaching, and then you've decided, I want to go racing, right? And at that point, you probably went to a new rider or new racer school, something like that. You got some one-on-one coaching a little bit there, usually from another racer who's probably an expert, who basically is there to evaluate whether or not you're safe on the track and, hey, have you put it together enough that you belong out here to race, right? And so forth. And then from there you go. And typically, I find that most people break down into one of two riders. Either A, you've got some experience, you've probably ridden before, or you're just in general good at sports. And you usually know those guys or girls, they put it together quickly, they go out and they're pretty fast right out the gate, right? They've put everything together of how everything works. And they're typically pretty quick. You usually know those riders, right? They're up there, they're top 5 novice class first year right away, or maybe they're winning their races right out the bat. Or B, you're another rider who, like myself, you're mid-pack, you struggle a little bit your first couple of years, right? And you're looking for, hey, what do I need to be doing to get like that? You know what I mean? However, what I find though, and I'm guilty of this as well as you, everything, you end up putting your money towards everything but coaching, right? You're at that level now, hey, you're kind of quick, where do I find those few extra seconds, right? And it typically doesn't go to, oh, I should go to a school or a camp or a coach, I should get this. No, it usually goes to parts, right? It's like, oh, I need the best wheels, I need carbon wheels, or I need better electronics, I need more horsepower, I need race gas, I need the best tires, I need this, that, and the other thing. That's all with the bike, right? Which is kind of crazy, right? It's the opposite of what you would be used to if you were a kid growing up, right? You can only, once you have the best cleats, this and that, the next thing is to invest in you, right? Which is funny because that's part of Yamaha Champion Riding School's, big slogan there is invest in yourself. But a lot of the time you find that we aren't really willing to do that, right? Because when you look at the price, it's not cheap by any means, right? Any type of coaching, especially good coaching, especially even YCRS, to do a 2-day program, you're, easily to get schools like, if you buy it on sale or whatever, it's usually $2,200, right? And you got to look at, fuel getting to wherever it is, there's money, right? And then hotel, right? And whatever else. And all of a sudden it really adds up. And most racers look at that and they say, well, that's a race weekend, man. Why would I spend that? That's tires, that's this, that's all this other stuff I could buy. You know what I mean? And that becomes kind of the argument there of why do I want to go to this? What am I really going to benefit? I'm already quick.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
You know what I mean? I'm already kind of fast in your mind, right? I'm only a second off or a couple seconds off from the fastest guys in the club. I don't need coaching. Maybe they're not saying that. Everybody knows they need some form of coaching, but they see their value. They'd rather invest their money in the bike. And that becomes kind of, if I make this better, that'll make me better. And it's kind of a weird thing, right? So as I'm sitting there, listening to Chris Paris, like I said, I wasn't sure how to answer that, but as an hour went by, I started to realize, I was like, man, I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, I wish so-and-so was right here next to me because he really needs to hear this. You know what I mean? Granted, I'd heard that before, but then another hour goes by and I was like, oh man, wow, this is good. This is stuff I just didn't know, and I wish so-and-so was here because he could really benefit from this. And, and as the day went on, eventually all 20 of these guys who had asked me that, I had my answer, which was, of course, why would you not? You know what I mean? But the biggest thing always becomes the cost. Is it worth the money? I mean, you look at any great rider, you look at Valentino Rossi, he has a coach, right? Any of these top level guys, they all have coaches. The list of who this school isn't for is much shorter, right? Basically, if you are Valentino Rossi, or if you've recently signed a contract with MotoGP, maybe you're at the Moto America level, which, there was guys in this class that were racing Moto America, so that doesn't say much. But most of these guys, and the only reason, that's basically the list right there, right? And the only reason is that these guys already have a coach. They're already being coached on this stuff, right? I mean, going back to Valentino Rossi, yeah, of course he had a coach. You look at any of these top riders, they all have coaches. Now, does that mean that coach is a better rider than Valentino Rossi? Do you think Valentino Rossi's coach won any world titles at all, right? And I think that's another thing too, that a lot of racers, you look at, oh, well, why do I want this guy to coach? Who is this guy? Has he won any championships? But some of the best coaches aren't necessarily the best, how do I want to say it, performers, right? I mean, granted, that would be awesome. Of course, I'd love a coach that's been there before me. He's accomplished these things, but that doesn't necessarily make this person a great coach, right? I mean, plenty of times they brought over MotoGP riders, I'm sure even to this school, to be like, hey, tell us the secrets, right? And you know how that goes. I go down the straight, and then brake marker one, I brake, and then I go, and the grip is very good, and just less of this and more of that, and that's awesome. And you're probably sitting there like, Jesus, dude, you said you don't even brake till brake marker one. Holy crap, and I'm way back at brake marker four. So all of what they just said, granted, is true. Less of this, more gas, right? To some degree, that doesn't really help you out, really, right? And that doesn't make that person, even though that person may have won X amount of championships, that doesn't mean that's a great coach, right? And I really learned this last year, especially with owning a track day organization. My first thoughts were, well, I need to have my fastest guys, my expert rider guys as control riders, as coaches, right? Because they're going to make the best coaches. And that wasn't necessarily true, right? That doesn't mean anything, because a guy at that pace, at that level, maybe can't explain to you everything that he's doing and how he's doing it or why he's doing it, right? And not only that, they're so used to being at that speed, at that pace. For instance, my first school, race school, I was coached with a number one plate holder, awesome guy. But his pace, we're talking minute 40s, you know what I mean? His I'm just cruising around pace is like minute 50s, as to where me as a brand new racer, my all out time was like low twos, right? So him kind of cruising around trying to show me things at that kind of pace, is difficult, right? Because to him, he's just cruising, but he's comfortable at that speed, at that pace. It seems slower. And those are the things he worked on later. And he's a fantastic coach, no doubt. With things like that, right? And my point being there is, we went to a good example of this. We hosted a track day at a venue and brought on a 3C YCRS coach. And some people were like, oh, well, who is this guy? This guy races in our club and he's not the fastest. And that's okay. That doesn't mean he's not a good coach, right? Every great top athlete has a coach. That doesn't necessarily mean that person is better than them. That just means you need a coach. You need somebody to tell you, hey man, let's work on these things. Let's work on that. Oh, you're doing great here. No, you need to work on this, those types of things. So to come full circle back to the question, is the YCRS 2-day ChampSchool worth it for you as an experienced rider, as an advanced level rider, as whatever, as a racer of whatever degree? Yeah, why would you not do it? Absolutely. At least do it once, right? I always say you never hear or see anybody who's like, no, it wasn't worth it, right? I mean, I saw guys in this class from everything from guys who just learned to ride a bike to Moto America riders, to guys who kept coming back. That was their third, fourth, fifth time there taking this class, still learning. I've seen guys who are, top vloggers, you're right, who help coach, all this stuff. Because you need that. You need somebody to tell you. That's how any sport, how you progress, right, is with coaching. Otherwise, man, you can only throw so much money at your bike, right? I mean, to what extent? You know what I mean? So you built yourself a full-blown super bike. Okay. Is that going to make you a faster rider? Of course not. You know what I mean? But of course, adults, we're all adults, spend our money however we want, and I'm guilty of this, as you are, as all of us are. We just want to buy things because I think it'll help us, and more times than not, it's just because we want to have it because it's awesome, right? And sometimes it's just not an easy pill to swallow that, hey, I should really invest in myself. And I think a lot of that just has to do with, can I physically hold this? Can I have this? I'm like a part, oh, I have this, as to where all that coaching is just, it's up here. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, very important. So to answer it, all of these guys, yeah, you definitely should. Definitely, at least once. Go see for yourself, invest the time, the money. No, it's expensive, but it's worth it. At the end of the day, it's absolutely worth it. Would I go again on my own dime, my own money? Oh, absolutely. Next year, definitely plan on 2022, spending more time working on things I need to work on. I definitely think, no matter what school you pick, whether it's them or not, which I highly suggest, but whatever you do, whether, pick one, find what works for you, right? Because everybody learns differently. And that's something important as well. Definitely add coaching, add some type of school, go at least once a year, find somebody, even if they're at the next level than you. If you're learning something, I think that's great. Definitely invest in yourself. And that's it. So hope this helps you out. If you're on the fence about ChampSchool, definitely check it out. They got that Champ U program as well. Definitely download that. That's huge no matter what type of rider you are. And like I said, this video is more geared toward, the more advanced, track day guys and race guys. Particularly, hey, is it worth it? Yeah, absolutely. If you're a new rider, though, it doesn't matter. Go get signed up. They're going to break you up. You know what I mean? When you get there, they're going to ask you, hey, are you bound to Rossi or are you just starting out? And, they work on different stuff. So that's it. Hope this helped you out. Hope you like it. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you guys later.